Imagine a dimly lit Leipzig drawing room in the spring of 1830. A young pianist, not yet 16, steps gingerly onto the stage for a soirée given by her father, the renowned piano teacher Friedrich Wieck. She is Clara Wieck. Her fingers, small but lightning fast, dance across the keys, weaving a tapestry of melody that leaves every listener breathless. Among the audience sits a 20-year-old law student turned music critic, Robert Schumann, his eyes alight with wonder. From that very moment, Clara's brilliance and Robert's creative fire would draw them into a partnership unlike any the Romantic era had seen, one that would produce some of the most enduring music ever written, and test the limits of love, loyalty, and resilience. Clara's story begins even earlier, in her childhood home on Breite Strasse. Born in 1819, she was a prodigy in the truest sense. By age 9, she had performed publicly across Germany, earning accolades that normally took a lifetime to achieve. Yet behind her effortless virtuosity lay a regimen of discipline imposed by her father. Friedrich saw in his daughter both a talent to be honed and a symbol of his own pedagogical genius. He arranged her study with the greatest teachers of the day, from Leipzig to Vienna, every lesson building her technical command and deepening her emotional expressiveness. Meanwhile, Robert Schumann's upbringing was shaped by a different set of forces. The son of a bookseller in Zwickau, he grew up surrounded by literature and ideas. Early on, he abandoned law in favor of music criticism, writing for the Neue Zeitschrift für Musik, where his fierce advocacy of Beethoven and Chopin earned him both fans and foes. His pen could be as sharp as his mind. He could champion a composer one month and lambaste him the next. Yet beneath the ardent critic lay a composer yearning to craft his own voice, and a man wrestling with intense emotions that would both inspire and torment him for the rest of his life. When Clara and Robert first met in that drawing room, they couldn't have predicted the tempest their relationship would become. Almost immediately, Robert was captivated, not simply by Clara's technical prowess, but by the poetry and depth she coaxed from the piano. In letters to his confidant Ludwig Schunk, he described Clara as the woman to whom alone I could dedicate my life's work. For her part, Clara recognized in Robert a mind that saw music not just as notes on a page, but as living, breathing expression, a collaborator who could amplify her artistry. Their courtship, however, was anything but straightforward. Clara's father, while proud of her accomplishments, viewed Robert as an unsteady influence. He forbade Clara from seeing Robert, threatening to withdraw her touring privileges. But the pair, driven by passion and conviction, simply wrote each other fervent letters, arranged secret meetings in Leipzig's quiet gardens, and shared clandestine practice sessions. Robert would sit at the worn wooden piano in Clara's family home, playing his newest Kinderscenen or Novelletten, while she sat beside him, offering technical suggestions that tightened his harmonies and freed his melodies. In 1837, at the age of 18, Clara petitioned the Saxon courts to be released from her father's guardianship so she could marry Robert. The legal battle that ensued was a dramatic public spectacle, testimony about Clara's physical and emotional health, Robert's financial prospects, and the propriety of a teenage girl deciding her own future. Newspaper pamphlets took sides, and friends wrote impassioned letters. Ultimately, the court ruled in Clara's favor. On September 12, 1840, she and Robert were married, an act of defiance and devotion that set the stage for their most fertile creative period, known forever as Robert's Year of Song. In that singular year of 1840, Robert composed over 130 Lieder, art songs that paired poets like Heinrich Heine and Adelbert von Chamisso with his own harmonic subtleties. Clara, now his partner in every sense, premiered many of these songs in salons across Germany. She brought a clarity and intensity to each performance, the way she phrased a line, the breath she took before a high note, the tender left-hand accompaniment she used to ease even the most turbulent melodies. Audiences and critics alike marveled at how intimately Clara could inhabit Robert's music, as if she were channeling his very soul through her fingertips. Through these years of triumph, the Schumanns balanced their roles with remarkable grace. They welcomed their first child, Marie, in 1841. She was followed by Elise in 1843 and Julie in 1845, each birth blending the demands of motherhood with the needs of a touring career. Clara, ever the consummate professional, continued to concertize, often bringing her newborn daughter on stage in a specially designed carriage. Robert, for his part, struggled to juggle composition, editing his music journal, Neue Zeitschrift für Musik, and caring for the household finances. But beneath the public success and creative synergy, Robert's inner turmoil deepened. He experienced auditory hallucinations, voices telling him to compose or condemn his music, increasingly vivid and distressing. He locked himself in his room for weeks at a time, wrestling with despair that threatened to extinguish his genius. Clara, upon hearing of his latest breakdown, would rush home from concert tours, gather their children, and care for Robert with a devotion that seemed to defy exhaustion. She would play Bach preludes by his bedside, coaxing him back to reality with the familiar structure of music. By February of 1854, Robert's condition had become critical. An attempted suicide, he dove from a bridge into the Rhine, led Clara and his friends to admit him to the asylum at Endenich near Bonn. For 6 months, she visited him daily, braving icy roads and scandalous gossip to hold his hand through the barred windows of his cell. When the doctors finally discharged Robert, the damage was done. His creative spark had dimmed, and his capacity to care for his family was forever altered. In the wake of Robert's institutionalization, Clara's world shifted dramatically. At just 40 years old, she found herself the sole breadwinner for their household of 8 children. She embarked on an extensive concert tour that lasted nearly 5 years, traveling from Vienna to Moscow, London to Paris, earning high fees and critical praise. Everywhere she went, she championed Robert's music, introducing his symphonies and chamber works to audiences that might never have discovered them otherwise. Her performances were electrifying. She infused each chord with passion, each phrase with narrative drama, ensuring that Robert's voice resonated long after his own pen lay still. Throughout the 1860s and 70s, Clara also devoted herself to teaching. She accepted a coveted position at the Hoch Conservatory in Frankfurt, where she mentored the next generation of pianists, including a promising student named Anton Rubinstein. She edited and published Robert's complete works, ensuring their technical accuracy and preserving his intentions for posterity. In letters to her confidants, Clara remarked quietly that her greatest joy was seeing Robert's music live on, carried forward by young interpreters who understood its emotional depths. When Robert passed away in July 1856, Clara was devastated. She returned to Leipzig, closing the chapter on her dual life as wife-composer and touring virtuoso. Yet she continued to perform for another 30 years, her playing maturing into a profound synthesis of technique and feeling, an embodiment of the very romantic ideals she and Robert had championed. Audiences who heard her in the 1880s found her interpretations infused with wisdom and nostalgia, as if each note carried echoes of every trial she had endured. As Clara retired from the concert stage in 1891, she ensured that Robert's memory remained alive. She organized memorial concerts, wrote her own memoirs, and inspired countless composers, including Johannes Brahms, a close family friend, to carry the Schumann legacy forward. She passed away in 1896 at the age of 77, leaving behind not only a rich catalogue of performances and editions, but a paradigm for artist partnerships based on mutual respect, shared passion, and unwavering devotion. So, what does their story teach us? First, that true collaboration transcends roles. Robert's compositions reached their full power only when Clara's artistry brought them to life. Second, that love and creativity can coexist even amid illness, prejudice, and public scrutiny. Clara never abandoned Robert, and Robert's genius flourished because of her faith. And third, that the romantic spirit endures in every note we play and every heart we open to the beauty of shared artistic vision. If Robert and Clara Schumann's story stirred something in you, whether admiration for Clara's courage, empathy for Robert's struggles, or wonder at their musical synergy, please give this video a like, subscribe to survive the shows, and ring that bell so you never miss another deep dive into history's hidden partnerships. Share your thoughts in the comments. Which moment resonated with you most, their secret courtship, Clara's fearless tours, or their devotion through illness? I can't wait to read your reflections. Thank you for listening, and until next time, remember that the greatest masterpieces are often born from the most profound human connections. Stay curious, stay compassionate, and keep tuning in to the stories behind the world's most extraordinary duos.